other communities who are also deprived of certain basic social amenities. Do you have plans to help other communities?
Well, all depends on the availability of funding. Within our 2010-2012 program strategy, we would have funding to provide school infrastructure for about 5 schools. We intend to scale up that program and to see how we can get funding for more schools in the urban area, precisely slum schools.
Okay. So is it only for Catholic, the scholarship award you awarded to students? Is it only for Catholic schools? What about other schools as well?
We are a faith-based organization. However, our mandate goes beyond Catholic schools.
Okay.
We are a local NGO, so we provide scholarship for people based on need, not based on creed. So yes, the ones we provided last week are for Catholic schools, but among the 40 schools, more than 60% of them are non-Catholic.
Okay. So exactly what are the needs of certain students in that particular district? Because you might have spoken to teachers in that particular community. What are the needs of these students?
Well, based on the survey we conducted 2 years ago, there are a number of students in those schools that would not go to school if we do not provide them basic things like books, uniform, bags, shoes, and some money for their parent to, to provide lunch for them. So it's important to be schools, but it's also important to see that young people have the basic needs to attend school. So last year we wrote a project to Kinder Missio, one of our major donors.
Mission for Children?
Yeah, Mission for Children, and we have a 3-year scholarship scheme that covers books, school materials, and some cash to assist parents and the schools themselves to see how they can support those children in school.
Okay, now the scholarships you awarded,
Yeah.
excuse me, to students is for 3 years.
3
Now,
years, yeah.
Will Caritas, add more years to this 3 years? Because some, parents might not be getting used to not paying for their, their awards for their children. So would you continue paying for these children?
It's always important to avoid dependency, not to create any form of dependency. So in as much as it's important to provide assistance to children and to help their parents, we must avoid creating unnecessary dependencies. We want to see how a program of that sort can be transformed into a more sustainable scheme for parents so that they will continue to provide assistance to their children.
Okay, now looking at the report, I saw, certain structures there that you wouldn't even wonder in modern day that students, are actually, offering classes in those classrooms. But what do you think other faith-based organizations, together with the government, can do to help boost education?
You see, there's been a major drive throughout the country to build more schools. And I think the government and many NGOs are doing well to do that. However,
but what is lacking? Because
what is lacking are, for instance, there are a number of schools just outside Freetown. That is shameful, to admit that they don't have toilet, they don't have water, they don't have school infrastructure. And so it's important. It's almost crying out. Schools like Russell, schools like the other schools we've been to, they are crying out for someone to help them. For instance, Russell Secondary School came first 2 times now.
One of the best in the
One
district.
of the best in that district. So our next move is within the next 6 months, we want to see how we can, raise funds to build a decent
So you're saying
school.
everybody should come on board and help?
We want everybody to come on board, and the needs are there. We want everyone to come on board. The facts speak for themselves. Go to Russell Secondary School and go to many schools along, the road leading to Tombo, Hamilton. You find schools that it's unbelievable that you have a school in this day and age, the 21st century, without a classroom. I mean, for Caritas, education is a priority, and it will always be. We think it's important to have schools, but we also think it's important to see that the quality of...
Now, do you think students as well as schools in that particular district, do you think they've been abandoned?
So to speak, I mean, so to speak, you know, I always consider that district as the excluded triangle. In the sense, many NGOs race past that district into rural Sierra Leone, where they build schools, they provide this, they provide that.
And they forget that
and
Waterloo
they forget
is just right
Waterloo is just right near Freetown. I mean, it's appalling, it's shocking. I mean, when I first went to those schools, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that quite close to Freetown, the seat of government, the seat of many NGOs, you have schools without toilet, without water, without classrooms, without furniture.
Okay. Now let's talk about sanitation. You also undertaking projects, help building toilets, building water well for different communities as well as schools there. So how would you describe sanitation in Waterloo?
Well, you see, Waterloo is a hotspot for population, for migration right now. People live in the rural areas. The first place they come is Waterloo. There is also reverse migration. People are leaving Freetown for Waterloo. Those areas are going to be congested. They are going to be the new slums of Freetown. The increasing rate of poverty, the lack of basic sanitation is something that government NGOs must pay particular attention to.
Well, do you think it's that bad compared to other slum communities?
It's bad enough. I mean, for example, one of the schools we went to, over 1,100 kids, there's not a toilet.
So they defecate on the
They defecate everywhere. 1,100 children without a toilet, not even a single toilet. So I mean, it was almost crying out to say, no, something has to be done.
Okay, I'm afraid Brother Edward Bull will have to leave it there for now. He is Brother Edward John Bull, head of programs carried